Hey guys, welcome back to Call Your Friends. We're your friends Lauren and Maddie, and we're back for another episode. We are going to dive right into what we did this week or what's been going on in our lives because we have a lot to discuss. So, Lauren, what has been going on in your life?
Well, I actually have a little bit to say because last time we recorded was 2 weeks ago. We ended up splitting our university episode into two. So it has been 2 weeks since we recorded. Since then, I went to the prom that I was talking about in that episode, and that was a lot of fun. I posted pictures on my Instagram story, but I feel like I didn't get any good ones. So I kept seeing everyone's comments saying that they wanted to see the dress that I wore, and I didn't have any pictures to show you all. But I ended up wearing a white dress. I ordered like 4 dresses off Revolve and just prayed that one of them would look good. And the white one fit pretty well, and then I had to use some fashion tape. But overall, worked out pretty well. So yeah, that was the prom.
How was the actual event?
Oh, I was waiting for you to ask. It was fun. It was weird because it was for an all-boys school. So it was definitely a different vibe than my school. But yeah, it was a good time. I felt bad. Their like after prom got canceled, which is kind of
why?
lame because I don't know, they did it at an Airbnb, and then this all happened before we even got there, but apparently someone, like one of the neighbors, called the cops, and then they told everyone to leave. So
Well, that sucks.
I know.
At least you got to dress up and go. I mean, prom, it's kind of like the actual prom event is never that fun, and the more fun part is the after party usually. So that kind of sucks.
I know, I felt bad for them because, like you said, the prom isn't really that exciting. All your teachers and the head of your school and everyone is there, and it's just kind of a dinner. It was a dinner, and then there was like a kind of an opportunity to dance, but everyone was leaving to go to that after prom while they were supposed to be dancing. So it was pretty much just a dinner, and then everyone left, but I felt bad because it was kind of like that was the end of their night. But we ended up, like, someone got a hotel room, so we were just kind of hanging out in the hotel room, and I don't know. It was fun.
Cool. And your dress was from Solus London. If people are asking, maybe you can. Well, I guess you already posted about prom, but it's on Revolve. Just look up Solus London. It was like a asymmetrical one shoulder situation.
Asymmetrical one shoulder front, and then the back was like a low back. And I really liked it. The only issue is that it was really long. So since it was long and white, it was dragging on the floor all night, and it got kind of dirty. If I had time, I probably would have hemmed it, but I got it like 2 days before the prom, and it was good enough for that. But if I wear it again for something, I'll definitely have to get it altered.
They probably make it long so people who are taller can wear it, and then they expect people who are shorter to just hem it. But yeah, that kind of sucks because then you have to worry about tripping and all of that too.
Yeah, it was really, really hard to walk in. I got another dress that was just, like, at least this one had a slit, so I could kind of put the fabric behind me. But the other one I tried on didn't have a slit, and it was so much fabric, I literally tripped when I was trying to walk in it, just around my room, to try it on.
Yeah.
It's like, this is definitely not going to
That
work
was
for the
bad.
prom.
Yeah, you need a slit. If you're wearing a long dress, even like a midi dress, it needs some sort of slit or else your legs are like stuck and you
You're
can't
like
walk.
a penguin.
So,
You have to, like, waddle around.
exactly, which I never really realized. But then I guess I don't really wear long dresses that often. So, good to know if you guys are prom shopping.
Yes.
Okay, any other updates?
Nothing too exciting. I had 2 AP exams last week. I had AP Lit, which is like English, and then I had AP Human Geography, and they went well enough. Since I'm in grade 12, my scores don't really matter. Like, people write APs to get into university or for university credits, and USC doesn't give credits for either of those. So, honestly, I was just kind of doing it because I had signed up months ago, but it was
Right.
kind of nice to not be stressed, not be too stressed about how I did on them, and just to try my best and hope for the best. So we'll see in July how I actually did, but I think they went well.
But it doesn't really matter, right? Like, you already got into university, so who cares how you did, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Like the school will see my scores, but they don't really care. If you get a 4 or 5, normally you can qualify for a first year credit, which is why your scores normally still matter in grade 12. But since USC doesn't do that, it doesn't matter at all. It's more of like a
Got it.
self-esteem thing, you know? I'd rather not fail it.
Yeah, true. Did you have to take the exam, or like why would you do it at this point?
Well, I'd already paid for the exam, so I figured I should just show up and take it. Plus, I didn't know if
Right.
I would have to tell USC if I didn't want to take the exam. But in one of my exams, a kid just didn't come because he had already gotten into the school he wanted to go to, and he wasn't too worried. I guess he knew that they didn't really matter anymore, so he just didn't take the exam. But I don't know. I was like, I might as well just do it, try my best.
Yeah, I guess if you don't get a great score, if it doesn't affect you either way, like if getting a not great score doesn't hurt your chances of like getting into school or whatever it is, then who cares? You might as well just write it.
Right.
All right, so any other updates?
No, that's pretty much all I've been up to. How about you? What's been going on in Maddie's life?
What have I done in the past 2 weeks? I'm trying to think. Well, I think number one, we are going to New York. We haven't talked about that.
Yes. Yeah, that will be
So-
very exciting.
We're bringing all of our art lists, all the new art list stuff. We're going to New York, and we're going to do a little photo shoot together, which will be really fun. I always love to have like assets to post, like content to post. And the person I'm working with on ads says that TikTok is very important, which of course I know. So we're doing a bunch of, well, I don't know if you even know this, Lauren, but
No, this is
we're going to do a
news.
bunch of TikToks together.
Fun.
New York City TikToks, hopefully in the close. And also it'll be fun to just, spend a few days in the city. I have a meeting on Thursday, our shoot's on Friday, and then we have Saturday to just walk around and explore. We're going to stay kind of like Midtown, but not like totally Midtown, like a little bit lower than Midtown on the west side, which I've actually never stayed on the west side before. So it'll be fun to walk around and go to the West Village and Soho. And I feel like, Lauren, when you usually go to New York, we stay on like the Upper East Side by Central Park,
Mm-hmm.
which is a completely different New York experience. So we can even walk by like NYU, and you can see like where I feel like all the young people live, like lower Manhattan. So I think it'll be a cool experience.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like every time we go, one, we're never there for long, and two, we do always stay at the same hotel. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if my New York experience is complete. I would say it definitely is not. So it'll be interesting to go and see a different part of the city. And we're going to stay until Sunday. So, well, you'll be there for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday then. 4 days? That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, you get in late on Thursday. So
Mhm.
Friday we have the shoot. Saturday we have the full day to do whatever we want. And then Sunday, I think we have to go to the airport at like 1 o'clock. So we have the morning so we can go to some good restaurants and cafes. I know some good spots in Soho and stuff. So we'll definitely walk around. New York also has really great vintage stores. So I want to go to some cool vintage stores.
Yes, for sure. And we'll get to podcast together, which is nice. So we pre-recorded next week's episode just because I have to stay at school next weekend for some school event thing. But then the following weekend, we will be together. So the podcast episode after that, I guess, will be in the same room, which is nice because we're normally calling each other.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully our hotel room is big enough because, New York has like tiny little hotel rooms. We
Yeah.
have to set up our camera and 2 chairs. But I think that there's a table in the hotel room, right?
Yeah, I think
Table
so
and
too.
chairs.
It'll work out
Okay,
well.
well then we're good.
Mm-hmm.
We're all set. We just need like a space. Or I feel like hotels would have like a office area we could use maybe.
We rent out the conference room to record our
Hey.
podcast.
We're really busy. We need to record our podcast, so we need this whole space. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll
Honestly-
have to see, but I feel like we'll figure something out.
This will be a great test drive for us to see if we can live in New York.
Yeah, I know. We actually talked about living in New York in the summer together. So maybe if this goes really well and we enjoy ourselves, we'll make that happen. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess
It would be so fun.
this will make or break it.
Yeah, this is a really important trip. So I guess we'll see. And I think New York at this time of year is like the most perfect time, like end of May. Honestly, the whole summer is nice, but May is like an amazing month, I think, in New York. So we're going end of May, and I think it'll be great. Good weather, like people will be outside, patios are open. So I think it'll be really fun.
Very excited.
What else has been going on? I'm trying to think. I had something that I was thinking about, but now I forget. What have I been doing, Lauren? I don't remember.
I don't know. The Bobcat?
Oh, what? Oh, I do want to talk about the Bobcat, but okay, some sad news is I planned my friend Abby, one of my best friends, Abby's getting married, and I planned her bachelorette trip because I'm her maid of honor, and I can't go on the trip. So I'm very upset about that. And that's happening in less than a month, in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Yeah, so that's going to be really sad to miss out on, but you know, I think that everyone will have a great time, and I did plan a pretty fantastic trip if I do say so myself. So I think it'll be fun, but I'm going to have so much FOMO. But yeah, I'm sad. So I think we're going to try to plan a little trip together in July. So to kind of make up for it since I'm missing out.
Oh, that'll be fun. Do you think, like, would Abby come to LA?
Yeah, we're thinking of going to LA, or her coming to LA and then going to Vegas for a few days. And I honestly hate Vegas, but I feel like for her, she's been once, but she's never like had a full Vegas experience. I think she went for a wedding. So I said I would only go to Vegas for you.
Yeah, that is true friendship. But I feel like Vegas is supposed to be like the classic bachelorette party spot. So I'm sure you guys will have fun.
It's also right before her wedding, so it'll be like the last hurrah.
Very fun.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sad about that. But I know that they'll have a great time. So that was another update. And I have to tell you guys about this Bobcat situation. So if you weren't aware that there are wild cats in California, like I was not aware, there are, and one lives in our backyard. So it's pretty traumatic.
Yeah, okay, the big issue is that we have 3 dogs, and they aren't allowed to go outside without Maddie helicopter parenting them because my mom is really scared that the Bobcat is going to attack.
Well, sometimes I forget how scary the Bobcat is, but then I look at the photo that I took, and I'm like, I'm truly terrified. This cat is scary. And my dad's like, I think I could trap it and relocate it, like go drive it somewhere down the hill and move it somewhere else. And I said, no, this is like a wild cat. Like, would you try to catch like a tiger? You wouldn't. This is more like a tiger than a house cat.
I think Dad would try and catch a tiger. Like, maybe he should leave
I
it
would
to the
never try to
professionals.
catch this thing. Like, it's terrifying. You saw the photo?
Yeah, it is terrifying. And I think Mom posted it on her Instagram story. So many of you have probably seen it as well.
Oh, gosh. She always posts the photos I sent her, like, of the dogs, the Bobcat. Like, it's kind of funny. But yeah, it was really scary to see, and he came right up to my window.
That's
So
sweet. He was saying hi.
I'm terrified. I'm really terrified. And I'm really scared about the dogs.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to keep a close eye on them. But I hope that everything's okay and the Bobcat finds a new home somewhere else that is not our backyard.
I would love for him to move. Like, I don't want anything bad to happen to the Bobcat, but I don't want him to live here. So, like, you really need to just move on.
If you could just open the gate and politely ask him to leave.
I could. Well, to be honest, I don't know how he's getting in. That's the concern. Because if he's getting over the fence, this thing can jump like at least 10 feet, which is that possible? I don't know.
I don't know, I guess.
Like the fence is so high, I couldn't even throw my sweater over it.
Well, I feel like you being able to throw your sweater over it might not be the best measure. I don't know if your throwing skills are that strong.
Well, I'm 5 feet 4 inches, and this cat is probably like, I don't know, 1.5 feet, like less than 2 feet tall. So how did he jump over the fence? That's like probably 8 feet, and it has spikes on the top. Let me know.
He's very talented.
Or he got in when I left the gate open and then he stayed. That could be the thing. And then now he's stuck.
So what I'm hearing is you're the problem.
I could be. I don't know. But I've asked around and no one has ever seen one in California. So
What?
I don't know. Yeah, like no one that I know has seen a bobcat. People that like go hiking and stuff. I've been asking them. I'm like, have you guys seen bobcats? Like, do you know about this? And they're like, no. Like we've seen coyotes. Obviously, there's lots of coyotes and stuff. But bobcats, no. This is a wild cat.
So where did it come from?
It must have come from, I don't know, the trail, somewhere in the canyon. Like we live in, how do we describe where we live? Like
The
in
canyon.
like a hill canyon, yeah. But I don't know. It didn't walk up the driveway, so it must have come from the other side.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that this bobcat has really been harassing Maddie and the dogs.
I was just so scared when I saw that thing come up to my window and stare at me. I ran up. I was like laying in, after I showered, I was laying in bed in a towel. I ran to the window and I was taking pictures of it because I was like, I need to get a photo.
Oh my
was-
gosh.
It was crazy. So that's the Bobcat saga. We'll keep you guys updated when we have more updates on that. But I just hope he leaves soon. That's all I have to say.
I hope so too. Okay, moving on to what's been going on in the world. I only really have one thing that I want to talk about, and that is the Met Gala. Did you see all of the looks?
Of course.
There was a lot of criticism this year because the dress code was gilded glamour / white tie, and I guess a lot of people didn't follow it.
I think that there's a lot of different interpretations of that theme because it's so wide ranging. Like, so gilded glamour, that's like the 1800s, I believe.
I Googled it, and it said it was very like, it's the more is more approach to fashion.
Right?
Something to do with New
Which-
York also.
Okay. But then the American lexicon is like a historical reference. Like it could really be any sort of historical period in American fashion history, I believe, which is why like Kim Kardashian wore a dress from the 1960s because it's not the Gilded Age, but it's part of American history and it's like an iconic moment.
It was Marilyn Monroe's
So-
dress, right?
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really, really cool. But then some people just didn't dress in theme at all. And then white tie, that's just like a very, very fancy dress code, fancier than black tie.
Right. Oh, interesting. I was wondering what the difference between those two was. But yeah, it does sound like you could really take that however you wanted. And I think that is kind of what people did, but they got a lot of backlash for it. I know that there were a few looks that people were raving about online, and 3 that I noted were Blake Lively's. Hers was like, I don't know if you saw it, but it was like
Oh, yeah.
inspired by the Statue of Liberty, basically. And it was like copper, and then it opened to reveal like blue as like the kind of like how the Statue of Liberty oxidized. I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. And it matched the carpet, which is awesome. And Billie Eilish's look was also really awesome, as well as Emma Chamberlain's.
I did not like any of this.
Really?
I really did not like Blake Lively's at all.
Interesting.
I mean, I like the reference, but I find it to be like a little tacky.
Okay.
I thought that Billy's was a little like obvious.
I agree that Billie's was a little obvious. Like, it's the first thing that I would have thought of when I saw, like, gilded glamour. I don't know. Just very old. I don't really know, like, what the time period is. But whatever it is, that is exactly what I would expect people to wear. So maybe she was just very on theme, but it was kind of predictable.
Yeah, it was a little too on theme almost. And Emma did look good. I just thought it was a little bit casual.
It was classic, but I also feel like it was her. Like, if she had done something crazy over the top, I don't think that would have been very true to herself. So I thought it was cool that she kind of found a look that was authentic, but still matched the theme.
Totally. I thought that she looked better last year, I think.
I don't know if I saw her last year's look. Let me look.
I'm just pulling up the best dress list to see what people thought. I did love Kim Kardashian's look. I thought that it was pretty stunning. And I thought that it was really cool that she wore Marilyn Monroe's dress because, like we said, that's an iconic moment in American history. American fashion history, I guess.
I was just going to say, I don't know if I love Emma's look from last year. It's kind of boring.
Really?
Was that the one that the theme was camp for?
No, I think it was American Lexicon. Oh, wait. No, she went in just September, I think.
Yeah.
Because the Met was in the fall. It was part one of this theme. This was like a continuation of the theme.
So was camp the year before then?
It must have been 2019.
Yeah, like pre-COVID. Okay. Mm-hmm. I guess I just didn't really follow it in September. But I'm pretty sure it's normally always in May, but they pushed it last year because of COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why they've had two so close together. Interesting.
Yeah.
I like her look better this time around, but I see what you see in last year's.
I loved hers. What did you think about Kendall Jenner?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I saw it. Let me look.
She wore a black dress. I honestly didn't love Kendall's look because I didn't like how the top part was not attached. Like, the skirt looks amazing, but I don't love the top part. Bella Hadid also wore black. It was okay. She wore Burberry.
Yeah, I'm not feeling Kendall's. There's just a lot going on there.
I think that Hailey Bieber looked pretty stunning, especially with the feathers on her. She wore like a white Saint Laurent dress with feathers, and I thought that it was very much like old Hollywood glamour vibes. And she looks it's simple, but she looks pretty beautiful.
Oh, I do like hers.
Mm-hmm. She always looks gorgeous. Great, I think. And I loved Rosalia's look. Are you searching these up?
Yes, as you speak.
And Lizzo with her flute. You guys have to look at that. Oh my gosh.
I actually did see Lizzo's. Lizzo's was everything.
And apparently that flute is like $40,000.
Flute? Like the instrument?
Well, you know that she plays the flute?
No. I didn't know that.
She has an Instagram account for her flute.
What?
It's like something be flutin' or something. Like that's the Instagram name.
That is so funny. So she brought it to the Met.
I don't think that it was her flute, but it was a very famous flute that's $40,000. And she brought it on the carpet.
Oh, very cool.
The Met is a pretty iconic event, and I think we all judge everyone so harshly because it's just easy to, and it's like kind of what you do about like when the Met happens, everyone talks about everyone's looks, but everyone looks amazing. Like if it was any other event, you'd be like, oh my gosh, they look so amazing, but everyone's standards are just so high for the Met.
I feel like if you don't pull out all the stops for the Met, like you're doing something wrong because it is really, it's like the biggest fashion event, I feel like. Would you say?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Which is why I think that Kim wearing Marilyn's dress and like she had to lose a bunch of weight to fit into it. And she was like, this is like an iconic event. Like I'm like playing a role almost because for people that are interested in fashion, it is like the most important event of the year. So I get where she was coming from in the sense that like she's playing a character almost, which is a pretty interesting way to think about it.
Yeah, interesting take.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I agree. It's not as amazing as past years. Like Kendall Jenner's gold dress that she wore 1 year or 2 years ago, that is like what I expected. Or like Zoe Kravitz. Does Zoe Kravitz go to the Met?
I don't know who that is.
She always is. Lauren, are you kidding me?
Who is that?
You don't know who Zoe Kravitz is?
No.
Okay, let's see if she went to the Met. All right, guys. Well, that was our Met Gala recap. And I think that was probably the most exciting event that happened this week. So we will move on. We're not going to talk about the Kardashians this week. We'll save you, because we always talk about them. But not this week. You're welcome. Okay, so let's discuss friendships because this is what we want to talk about in this episode. I think that this is a really important topic because it's something that everyone has to navigate throughout their life. And I think the dynamic changes a lot as you get older because, I don't know, like I'm trying to remember what I thought about friendships in high school. I think that friendships were probably more important to me and not more important in a way of like the actual relationship was more important, but the validation that I got from friendships was more important to me. Whereas now I see them more as an accessory to my life, but I'm like living my own life. And that's just because of the way that in high school you're surrounded by your friends every single day, all the time. So I think that it's interesting to talk about. How do you feel about friendships now? And also, I want to know what you think makes a good friend, because I think that changes too as you get older.
I think that friends are definitely an important part of your life, especially when you're young. My situation's kind of unique in that I go to boarding school, so I'm with my friends literally all the time. I would say in past years, I've been pretty independent and like not really the type to tell my friends everything, but now I'm with them all the time, so I feel like we all share so much with each other and spend so much time together. And I don't know, they're definitely just very important in my life. But I would say that what makes a good friend is probably I think that different people would have different answers to that. I am someone who, if you've heard of the love languages quiz, my love language is definitely quality time, which means that in friendships and relationships, I just appreciate spending time with people and doing fun things together. And that is like how I guess I appreciate other people showing me that they love me. Ew, for lack of a better word. Um, but I would say that if you had a different love language, like gift giving or acts of service or words of affirmation, those other things would be more important to you. So I think it's important to just know what your friends value in friendships and make sure that you're doing those things for them so that, I don't know, just because you know that like that's what makes them happy.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good to know that. Like, you have to know your friends really well, of course, to like know how they give and receive love. But I also think that it's hard to have those sort of like deep relationships with lots and lots of people. And that's a big difference between high school and like adult relationships, I guess you could say, because it just takes a lot of time and energy. And I feel like that's kind of like underestimated how much time and energy it takes to actually be like a really great friend. So I think as you get older, you kind of, it like naturally happens that you have less like super close friends. And I always say to my friends, or like, yeah, I guess to my friends, that as you get older, especially, it's fine to have friends for different reasons. So you don't need to expect the same level of like whatever it is, like commitment, like someone caring about your life as much. Like, you don't need to expect that from all of your different friends, but it's fine to put friends in different, not like tiers, but like different sections. So you have your friends for different reasons. You have your going out friends, maybe. You have your work friends. You have your best friends who you know will always be there for you. But maybe your work friends or your going out friends, they're not going to check in with you and they don't know every single detail of your life. And that's fine. It's not like those people aren't your friends. They're just friends for different reasons. And I feel like that's definitely what happens as you get older. Whereas in high school, I felt like all of my friends were super close because we did everything together. And for you, even more so because you live with them. Like, it kind of carries through university where like you know every single detail about your friends' lives. But then as you get older, you have to make such an effort to maintain those relationships because maybe you don't see people that often and you have to like have a weekly phone call or, like, I think that it just takes a lot of time and thought and effort. And it's hard if you're not a person who needs someone to be constantly checking in on you, because if you have a friend that needs that, then you have to make way more of an effort to be like, okay, I remember that she said that she's doing this on Monday, so like Monday night I have to check in. Because as we discussed, I think that actually the episode's going to come out next week, but in next week's episode, Lauren and I talk about attachment styles. And we discovered that we're both avoidantly attached, probably. That's actually not for every single relationship, but like our general attachment style is, let's say, like secure avoidant. And that means that we don't need somebody to be like doting on us, whether it's in a romantic relationship or a friendship. Like, I don't know about you, I won't speak for you, but I don't feel like I need my friends to be constantly checking in. And it gets us in trouble sometimes because then our friends feel like they're not close to us because we don't share, whereas other people like share every single detail. So I think just knowing how people, like you said, how people give and receive love, and also like if it's important for them that you know what's going on in their life and they're a close friend of yours when you're older, make sure that you check in even if it's not your natural tendency.
Yeah, that's very true. I always, like, okay, in high school, I guess how I see that present itself is if I have a test or something, my friends will text me good luck and, like, ask me how it went and stuff. And
Yeah.
I always feel bad when I don't do the same for them, but it's just not something that I would naturally think of. Like, I don't know, I don't even expect that from them. So when I get the text, I'm like, oh, that's nice that they care. But, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Unless it's something really big that someone has been talking about all week, I probably wouldn't think to send that text to a friend. So,
Totally.
like you said, it's important to know if that's something that's important to them, then it's something you should probably do and remind yourself of that.
All right, guys. Well, that was a brief discussion on friendships, but Lauren and I, we're busy girls, so we've got to run. But I feel like we can talk about this a lot more. Maybe we should do a part 2 about this in the future. Maybe you guys can leave your questions about friendships, because this is such a broad topic that I feel like we could give specific advice if we knew what people wanted to hear.
Yes, I definitely agree. I was going to say the same thing. There's just so much, I don't know where to start. So if you guys want to leave us voicemails, our number will be in the show notes down below. Otherwise, you can DM us on our Instagram, Call Your Friends Podcast. Or is it just Call Your Friends, or is it Call Your Friends Podcast?
Call Your Friends Podcast.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, send us a DM, comment on our recent, give us a call, however you want to do it. Just let us know what your questions are, and we will answer them on an upcoming podcast episode.
Yes, well, that is it for this week. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you next Friday.
Bye.
Bye.